What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. So, if you were to give your week so far a rating on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being amazing and 1 being pretty difficult, how would you rate your week so far? What's up, Marcus? What's up, Sean? What's up, Abby and Alex and Jess, Tambra? If you were to rate your week, hi, Kelly, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being amazing, 1 being, what would you rate? Go ahead and put it down in the chat. Oh, man, it's great to see people popping in here. That's awesome. How would you rate your week? I'm waiting for somebody to give me a rating. Maybe it's like, Oklahoma, Wendy, Oklahoma in the house. Great to see you. I think if it's who I'm thinking, I'm looking at small print here. I met your daughter this weekend. So 4, lots of 4s coming in. If you were to rate your week on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you how would you rate? Or 1 to 5, sorry, 1 being difficult, 5 being awesome. Lots of 4s, lots of 5s. That's awesome. Sometimes when we start evaluating our life, where did you go to do that? What went through your mind? Like, was it just anything good happened to me? Was it, like just reflectively, like even if you didn't put numbers in, and Tony is having a tough week, it's like, how do you rate that? I think that's what's interesting to me. Because sometimes you're like, it's, good things, or it's normal week, going through the motions. Jen has a 1, so Jen's facing some tough stuff. Maybe it's like, it's not as venturous as I want, so I rate it low. It's not as bad as I thought, so I rate it high. So when we start evaluating, I think sometimes there's some things that are going on that maybe indirectly tie to our prayer life. I think sometimes when it comes to prayer, we assume that prayer should be some hyper spiritual, emotional, significant kind of experience, because prayer is powerful. We pray first, and then when you sit down to pray, it's like, what do I say? And so we get stuck is the word that I'm thinking of here. It's like you start doing the same things over and over again. Maybe that's a little bit of where you're at. If that's you, man, I'm really glad that you're here. It starts to feel like you go through the motions. Prayer becomes rote, where you have a couple of words or phrases that you pray, and you end up praying the same thing over and over again. And so it's some version of maybe the Lord's Prayer, or it's just like, God, keep me safe today and help me get through today, and help me. I want today to be a good day, and take care of my family today. Those are not bad prayers. Those are not bad prayers at all. But when then that's the only thing that you're praying, it's hard to break free from that. So I was just thinking that my prayer life is really lacking. And so, so we stopped praying. So I want to talk about some things. We talked about it this weekend. Today's prayer focus is inviting God to search our hearts. And so yes, Lori, that's a great suggestion. We're going to look at one of those Psalms. Praying through the Psalms is helpful. Finding other verses to pray through, that's what we're going to talk about today. Because sometimes prayer becomes like Venda prayer. It's like we don't really pray unless we, need a parking spot or a deal on some, a lawnmower because ours broke, or somebody is sick. That's probably the number one prayer request that gets submitted. If you have a prayer request, our prayer team would love to pray with you. Put it right in the chat. Or we wait until our weeks are feeling like a 1, a 2, and it's like, God, please help me. It's like that prayer of desperation for God to like fix our life, right? Jeremiah, the reason that prayer is, how do I want to get into this here? I think the invitation for, prayer becoming more than just the worst is a dangerous invitation. Prayer becomes more meaningful when it becomes more personal. Prayer is hard work because oftentimes prayer is heart work. So when you ask God to search your heart, then you have to start paying attention to the things beneath the things. My friend of mine, Steve Carter, just released a book called The Thing Beneath the Thing. Creative cover there, right? And what he's writing about are the things hidden inside that keep us doing what we're doing or keep us from doing the things that we want. And what God has done to help us with that. So if you feel stuck or frustrated, I haven't started the book. I just started the book last night. Jeremiah 17:9 says that the human heart is deceitful. It's the most deceitful thing. And so one of the reasons we get stuck is because there may be some things in our heart that just are keeping us from moving forward. And these aren't things that God's sitting there like really disappointed in you and me about. It's more like, hey, I see what's going on. Can we help you move forward out of that space? Earlier this week, I was carrying some stress home with some unfinished things, and I didn't have much space through the rest of the evening to help. And so the thing underneath the stress was I'm just not going to be able to get done all of the things that I wanted to get done in a timely manner to get them done. And I started expressing or sharing that stress with the people around me, mainly my family, in some small, frustrated ways when, a mess would be made, which is normal and nothing wrong with that. But you kind of like, your heart spills out. Andy Stanley talks about a few of these in another book called The Enemies of the Heart. And you can look up a summary. I'm sure you can find YouTube videos. But he basically says, here are 4 things. Like, this is what I want to invite you to pray about today and pay attention to. Like guilt, anger, greed, and jealousy. So those are 4 areas where it's like, as you start to pray this prayer and you step into the 28 days of prayer, you can start listening for, man, is there something going on in my heart that's keeping me stuck? Guilt is this feeling that you owe somebody. And what you owe is such a big debt that's like you're never going to carry. You're never going to be able to pay it off. And so it's typically a choice that we make, a regret that we have. And so you go into every conversation and into your relationships with this burden of guilt, like I'm a mess. Or you have some things that you're secretly hiding that you don't want people to know about, that you feel really guilty about. And if they just only knew what you were struggling. And so guilt begins to keep from experiencing God's freedom and grace. And so the way out of that, like if that's something that you've been carrying, confession, bringing those secrets into the light. That doesn't mean, you invite everybody on Facebook and the world to see your relational or personal, I call it your underwear drawer, like, hey, here's everything that's bad about me. But, you're only as sane as your secrets. And so if you have a lot of secrets, you're probably not very sane. But if it's like, as you let those things out in appropriate places, it's life-giving. So if guilt is something that's holding you back, maybe there's some room to explore where to confess some of those things. Anger is another one. Anger is the sense that someone out there owes you. They've done something and you're waiting for the debt to be cleared. You are thinking, man, in most cases, though, the debt's never able to be paid back. Nothing pleases you. Everybody starts owing you. You become the victim. You become the victim of everybody else. And pretty soon, everybody owes you. And that's why you're at where you're at. That's you, that may be the thing that's keeping you stuck. And so the forgiveness is the remedy for that. Like when we say, search my heart, God, essentially what we're saying is there an enemy is anger darkening my heart? Forgiveness is the decision to cancel the debt, not to forget maybe the hurt, but to cancel the debt that they owe you. So you got to determine what's owed. You got to cancel the debt.